What's up, Austin? It's Nikki. Are you tired of sending your food scraps and yard waste to landfills? Do you want to do your part for the environment? Well, join your neighbors in composting. It's easy. If it grows, it goes into your green composting cart every week. That includes food scraps, meat, dairy, and seafood. You can also compost food-soiled paper like greasy pizza boxes and paper towels. So visit austintexas.gov/composting for tips and resources. Let's make Austin a greener, more sustainable place, one compost cart at a time. To really know a city, you got to know the folks who built it. So today on CityCast Austin, we're bringing back my conversation with someone who knows the history behind the names we see all over the city that every Austinite should know. It's Thursday, February 5th. I'm Nikki Devon, and this is what Austin's talking about. Hello, I am here today with Adam Powell, Executive Director of the Austin History Center Association, which is the nonprofit partner that supports the Austin History Center. What's up, Adam? How are you?
I'm doing well. It's always a wonderful day to talk about Austin history.
Listen, I agree. A lot of people already know that I'm a little obsessed with this city. So any opportunity to learn more about it, I'm all over it. And today we're going to dig into Austin's history and talk about some of the names that every Austinite should probably know. So we know Austin is named for Stephen F. Austin, the father of Texas. So let's talk politics. Austin is the state capital and has been since 1839. What are some of your favorite political names to know here in Austin that maybe we don't get to hear about a lot?
Yeah, well, I'm going to say from the jump, we're going to talk about a lot of Black history.
I'm into it.
That's where we're at, right? I mean, for me, it's personal, right? Black Austinite, born at St. David's Hospital right off of 35. So we're going into it. That's what we're doing.
I'm a native Austinite too. It's like, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I love to see it. I love to see it. Brackenridge, right down the street.
Oh, we got to beef the Brackenridge and the St. David's babies. But that's okay. That's okay. But this is a name that I think has an amazing story. So Henry Green Madison is our city's first Black city councilman.
Wow. Okay.
He was born into slavery. By the time he came to Austin in the 1860s, during the Civil War, he was staunchly pro-union. He was a freedman at that point in time, came to Austin and literally built a life for himself. When I say literally, I mean he built a cabin for his family. He had a wife, and I believe it was 9 total kids, right?
Ooh,
so exactly. He came in. Back then, there were city aldermen. He was actually appointed by, I believe it was Edmund Davis, the Texas governor, in 1871. Served as a city alderman from 1871 to 1872. Post-Civil War, there were many, many Black elected officials across the state of Texas.
Wow.
It was a real moment in Reconstruction where there were many Black elected officials. And then as Jim Crow, as separate but equal, came onto the scene, then there was a long, long time period. So Henry Green Madison, I believe there was another 1 or 2 appointed Black city aldermen at the time. And then there was better part of 100-year gap until you get to the 70s with Burl Hancock's was kind of the first modern Black city council member.
Wait a minute. So we had 1 city alderman in 1870 and then like maybe 1 or 2 more and then 100 years before the next one?
More or less, yeah. And this is what we see at all levels of government in the state of Texas across the South. I mean, Barbara Jordan is a legend, not just because Barbara Jordan was a legend and was amazing, but also because she broke a ceiling that existed again for the better part of 100 years on the national stage, coming from Texas and doing all that. And then my push to folks listening is those individuals existed in Austin as well. Learn about Henry Green Madison, learn about Burl Hancock's. And I mentioned that cabin that he built with his hands.
Yeah.
Henry Green Madison's cabin still sits today in Rosewood Park.
Wait, what?
It does. It is now a historic location. Later on, there was a house that was built around it. That house was getting demolished. And then they kind of uncovered, oh my God, here's the cabin. So it was disassembled and relocated to the current location of Rosewood Neighborhood Park. And I believe it was the sororities and fraternities from HT that did that as a community project over at Houston Tillotson.
So that little tiny house at Rosewood, oh my God, you're blowing my mind. Why didn't I know this? This is great. I cannot tell you how many Juneteenths, how many like family barbecues I have spent at Rosewood Park, and just like known, like have had my grandparents and my mother tell me to stay away from stay away from it, and not knowing that there's a reason that you needed to stay away from it. I am simultaneously embarrassed and also feeling very proud. It's really strange.
See, I love it. No embarrassment needed, right? It's to me, it's one of those like sacred spaces in Austin. It's really special.
Hell yeah. Okay.
And now the next political name I was thinking of.
I'm ready.
Because I got to come clean with you, Nikki. I was born in Austin. I was raised up in Leander, though. I got a history degree from TCU. I didn't really know anything about my local history here in Austin. And I had these moments of discovery that led to, obviously, the career path I'm on now. One of those moments was just stopping and thinking, wait, why does Leander exist? Whose name was Leander? Where did that come from? Leander exists because of the railroads. The Austin Northwestern Railroad that went out to Leander, connected Austin all the way to Abilene. The first railroad actually came to Austin in 1871. There's a time before cars. There's a time before planes.
Yeah.
If you wanted your city to be a real place and really be connected, you had to have a railroad.
Railway. Yeah.
And they would actually just say, okay, we're going to make a railroad stop here, and this is a city now. And that's what happened with Leander.
Nice.
They found an area. It was near a pre-existing settlement called Baghdad at the time, which, if you've been around Leander, there's still Baghdad Road, like about a mile away from where the train came in. And so then the name Leander, there's an individual named Leander Brown, and he was on the board of directors for this railroad. And they're like, we're going to put a stop here. What do we call it? Let's name it after our homie Leander, right? He's good people. He's a big funder of the railroad. He was a very wealthy landowning man. Let's just name it after him. He's cool. But Leander's direct tie to Austin, he was the mayor. He was the mayor from 1867 to 1871.
Oh, man.
I'll tell you, too, this is a story that's similar to a bunch of the other small towns outside of Austin. So, for example, Elgin, Manor, these are places that also really became cities, towns in their own right because of the railroad. And then my favorite example, Cedar Park, same thing, created a railroad stop, named it after a guy on the board, but this guy's name wasn't Cedar Park. This guy's name on the board of the railroad is Brugerhoff.
Brugerhoff?
Brugerhoff.
Wow.
And
also a great name.
Killer name. However, when they founded the city, they named it Brugerhoff, Texas, platted it and everything. And the residents disliked spelling it. They disliked saying it. So 5 years after Cedar Park was founded, they changed the name from Brugerhoff to Cedar Park.
That's so messed up. That's okay. I don't like that.
Yeah.
So, okay, now we're getting into talking about towns and stuff like that. People travel in and out of Austin all the time. They travel on our streets and bridges, and there are hundreds of streets in this town. And also, like, it's kind of a bone of contention, I think, when people come into the city, because they're like, is it 290? Is it Koenig? Is it 2222? No. Which one is it? Is it 71? Is it Ben White? Is it what is it? Like, I've had these conversations with people like, why do your streets have 12 names? What is happening? So who are some of our streets and bridges named after? Who are these people that we should know?
Oh, I got two fun stories for you on this one. The first one. So Dean Keaton, right?
Dean Keaton.
Right near UT, right off of 35, has its own exit, really. Is Dean a first name or a title?
I just always assumed it was a first name.
Yeah, I would say most people do. I did as well. It's actually a title.
What?
Yeah, so if it was a first name, I know. If it was a first name, it would have been Werdner. So the guy's name was Werdner Page Keaton.
What? Werdner?
Werdner, Werdner, as I'm saying that. I'm looking at the page to make sure I'm getting right.
Werdner P. Keaton.
That's right. And so he was basically, I think it's 25 plus years, the dean of the School of Law at UT. Makes total sense. It's a road right next to UT, named after him. The wild thing, though, the famous one in his family is his daughter, Carol Keaton, because Carol Keaton was the only woman who has ever been elected mayor of the city of Austin. Ever. And then she ended up having a statewide career. Yeah, she was Texas comptroller. She ended up winning statewide office after being mayor here and recently passed away. So Dean Keaton is actually Wardner Page Keaton, dean of the School of Law.
My God.
But his daughter upstaged him because she was the mayor.
So, okay, you're blowing my mind right now. You're blowing my mind right now. So, first of all, why we didn't keep Wardner, I don't know why, because that's just
I think that's a legendary name, me personally.
It's legendary. It's far more superior. And also, I don't know why I didn't, until this moment, put Keaton and Keaton together. Like, I don't know why it never occurred to me that this would be a family name. I don't understand.
It's one of those things where it's like, you know, if you stopped for like 2 minutes, you'd be like, oh, well, that makes complete sense. Literally, I am not joking. The reason why I learned about that was because I was in traffic on 35. I saw Dean Keaton and I was just like, okay, I'm going to Google that when I get out of the car. that's it. And that is also the story of the next thing I'm about to tell you, which is a bridge on I-35. This will sound extreme, but I promise this is maybe top 1 Austin stories of all time to me in history.
Okay. Oh, I'm ready.
I was sitting in traffic on I-35 and I saw the green nondescript Texas highway sign that said J.J. Seabrook Bridge.
Yeah. Yes.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to Google who was J.J. Seabrook. First off, to introduce J.J. Seabrook himself, this man was a powerhouse of Black Austin, of Austin writ large, period.
Yeah. He
was, I believe, the second president of Houston-Tillotson after it merged and became Houston-Tillotson from 2 separate colleges. He was involved in many, many boards and commissions, volunteer, community activist. The thing he's not most famous for is all of those amazing things he did as president, as a professor and academic, boards and commissions. He's actually kind of heartbreakingly most famous for how he died. And so the year was 1975, and there were conversations, and had been for a number of years, about renaming 19th Street to MLK. And the big bone of contention was, should MLK just be east of I-35, or should it be the entire length of 19th Street?
Yep.
And we know the answer today is the entire length. That's what happened. It is actually the case in many, many cities that MLK is on just the historically non-white side of the town. It's a unique thing that we have it this way. And so this was May 1975, city council meeting where all this is getting discussed, right? And Nikki, you know how City Hall is. You know, it was one of those meetings where you had a whole bunch of people testifying. And interestingly enough, you look at the minutes, I've gone through and read them, most of the people there were testifying against it going over to the west side of Austin. Very few people were saying the quiet part out loud. Most of them were saying, oh, it's going to cost a lot more. It's going to cost, you know, $50,000 to change the names and do this, yada, yada, right? And then Mr. J.J. Seabrook comes to the stand, and he starts speaking, obviously, fervently in support of expanding it to the west side, the importance of crossing that boundary of I-35, of the line of Austin's segregated past and present. And as he's testifying for this, he has a heart attack. And he literally gets carried out, goes to the hospital, he dies that day. Couple days pass, they do a special called meeting, which is maybe one of the funniest set of minutes I've ever read, because basically, not like ha-ha funny, but just obviously they had no idea what to do. The city council's just like, okay, he died, and the issue's unresolved. What do we do? Oh my God. And then the next set of minutes, they have a council meeting, and you bet they went and they passed MLK going all the way to West Austin. And so in 2010, they renamed that bridge on MLK, on the former 19th Street that goes over I-35, J.J. Seabrook Bridge. And the only way you'd really know this is if you see that small green sign, if you're like me, bored in traffic. But to me, that's one of the most unbelievable stories I've ever heard, period.
We're getting close to the time of year when we start thinking about spring cleaning and home improvements. Maybe you've noticed your heater running a bit more than usual, or maybe you've noticed higher electricity bills. Well, it could be time for you to replace your old builder-grade windows with custom-built, high-quality windows from Window Nation. Check this out. You can choose from over 1,500 styles and colors. They measure 3 times to make sure your windows fit perfectly. Windows can be installed in 1 day or less, and they come with a lifetime warranty. And if you're worried about breaking the bank, Window Nations has you covered. You can get them with 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 2 years. Plus, Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 Windows free sale is going on right now. And if that's not enough, act now and you can get an extra 10% off for Valentine's Day. So schedule a fast, free estimate now at windownation.com. There are several buildings in town that all have the same name, and other buildings might be named for people we've never heard of. So, like, who are the people we should know as far as buildings being named after them?
So, we're going to talk about a place in West Campus that is currently known as the Cauldron Dive Bar, or I think for a bit was the Cauldron Coffee and Beer, right?
Okay.
Before that, I believe it was Friedman's Barbecue for a bit, but it is also in a historic building that is the very last physical remnant of one of the most amazing freedom colonies in Austin's history, a place called Wheatville.
Wait, what?
And this building that now the Cauldron Dive Bar is in, this building is better known as the Reverend Jacob Fontaine Gold Dollar Building. And I'm here to say that Reverend Jacob Fontaine might be my favorite Austin historical figure, period, end of story. And we've talked about a lot of wonderful ones here.
Wait a minute. That's a bold statement, Adam.
It's
That's a bold statement.
He is another individual who was enslaved, right? He was enslaved by a reverend and came to Austin. There's this large sort of legacy and story of throughout the Civil War, Austin had very little bloodshed. And so basically, slave owners were fleeing various parts of the South. A lot of them ended up here in Austin with their enslaved individuals, basically. And that's why when you look at the demographics, depends on the source you're looking at, but talking like 1860, 1865, end of the Civil War, Austin had over 36% Black people compared to around 7% today. So it's real different. Civil War ends, individuals get freed, and they found ways to build power, to build love and community, and build their own spaces. There are many documented examples of freedom communities across Austin. This is basically any place where formerly enslaved individuals banded together, built a community, bought or leased land, and made something of it. And Wheatville is one of the most well-documented, notable ones in Austin. And to orient folks who are listening to this, this is current day West Campus. Campus.
This is on the west side of 35.
That's right. And that's the thing. Almost all of these freedom colonies were. This is pre-Austin being segregated by the 1928 city plan. And this is a thing that's often talked about at the History Center. People are like, hey, if you just talk about downtown, it's not really a diverse history. It's like, no, it absolutely is. You'll learn about indigenous history, Mexican history, Black history, all the histories that our community has to offer if you go back in time enough in downtown Austin. And so Reverend Jacob Fontaine, formerly enslaved individual, after the end of the Civil War, as a freedman, he eventually, of course, in addition to being a reverend, in addition to leading congregations, being a faith leader, being a community leader through that, he also founded the Gold Dollar newspaper, which was one of the earliest examples of a Black-owned, operated newspaper for the Black community, by the Black community, this side of Mississippi.
Wow.
And he operated this outside of, again, what is today Cauldron Dive Bar. This is the Gold Dollar building because that's where he did the thing. Throughout the course of slavery, right? All of the history of slavery, but it becomes particularly important towards the end of the Civil War. Families were often separated, and Reverend Jacob Fontaine was one of the very few lucky ones who was able to find some family after the fact. So he reconnected with his sister, and they were torn apart, in his words, by the evils of slavery. And they reconnected. And when they reconnected, she gave him a gold dollar. And he used this gold dollar in part to get this building up and running, to get the newspaper up and running. And then this newspaper did what so many black newspapers did at the time, had ads and classified things out there to try and reconnect families who had been torn apart by slavery.
This is going to make me cry.
It's unbelievable stuff.
Oh my God.
You can find the first issue of the Gold Dollar newspaper and hear him writing and talking about this. But the story gets even more wild, right? Because what I'm about to say is very, very true. Reverend Jacob Fontaine is the reason that we have the University of Texas here in Austin. No joke.
Okay. I need
no joke.
Okay, you're going to have to elaborate on that.
My dad was a professor at the university. My mom got a master's there. My wife went to law school there.
Yeah.
I never went to UT. But for me, like, it's a big part of my personal story and life here in Austin.
Yeah.
It feels like UT's always been here. Of course, as folks know, UT was founded in 1883. As way fewer folks know, there was an election, a statewide ballot initiative to determine where Texas's university was going to be. And UT at the time, right? So we're talking like late 1870s, probably early 1880s. Austin was not the front runner for this, even a little. The front runner for this was the biggest city in the state of Texas at the time, Galveston, Texas.
What?
It basically was like the billionaires' row at the time. They had the fanciest hotels in Texas. It was like a destination vacation spot for like the 0.01% in the country. It was popping. And the most populous city in the state of Texas. That went away after 1900, where a hurricane more or less wiped Galveston off the map. So Galveston was the front runner, right? They were the front runner. That was the place where everybody's like, that's where the University of Texas should go. And the only reason Austin got it, well, really two reasons. One was there was political maneuvering for the statewide ballot initiative to separate the main university and the medical school. And so UT Med School went to Galveston, and it's still there. It was kind of a race for who's getting the main university. The way that Austin narrowly won this election was the black community, because keep in mind, this is Reconstruction era. Black men with very great difficulty, but black men could go and vote. And Reverend Jacob Fontaine was the community leader that got all the black folks together. And think about this as a generational impact. He got those folks together and said, hey, we need to make sure this university comes to Austin. It's what's best for our community, with full knowledge and full understanding that it was going to be a university they very likely couldn't access.
Right.
And he did it anyways.
Wow.
And as we know, we got to go all the way to, the 50s Sweat v. Painter until the University of Texas actually gets integrated.
Wow.
Far after his lifetime.
I am sitting here with my mouth open. I can't believe what you're telling me right now. So this man advocated and fought and got other people to vote to get a university into this city that he knew he would never, ever be able to be admitted into.
That's right. His story is filled with that. Same thing with the newspaper. His family was reunited. He could have stopped there, right? And yet he creates a method to reunite more families. He was able to have an education. He could read and write. He could do these things. And he established a way for generations of Austinites to do the same. That my dad, a black man, could be a professor at this university that he wasn't able to even consider.
Oh my God, you are blowing my mind. That is the definition of a life of service. I cannot. Oh my God.
I've had the honor of meeting a man named Dennis Berry, who is a direct descendant of Jacob Fontaine. He's an artist in the area. So,
really?
Great guy. And he's living proof of Jacob Fontaine's legacy. Like, his family stayed in Austin. And then I'll tie this back all the way to the Austin History Center. The Austin History Center downtown, it's off of 9th and Guadalupe. That area of town was actually originally platted to have churches. And indeed, a church that was once on that site was led by Reverend Jacob Fontaine. And so, the Austin History Center, when it reopens September 7th, there's going to be an exhibit opening in the former Falk Central Library that the History Center's expanded into. But when you come to the Austin History Center, you are on hallowed ground, a physical site that was resonant with this amazing individual. And I have to say too, right?
Wow.
All the amazing individuals that we don't even know of or have their stories documented who are part of this legacy, bringing UT to town. basically creating Austin as it is today. So many names we don't even know that were allied and working with Jacob Fontaine to make this happen.
This is insanity. I've never heard this story. I went to UT. I've never heard this. This is crazy. And also the fortitude that you have to do something like that. I can't wrap my brain around it. I want to keep talking a little bit about people. I want to hear about Austinites. Again, I want to hear more about people that we should absolutely know, but we probably don't know.
Yeah, this is a guy named Ramon Galindo. Ramon Galindo, just to me, is one of the most joyous, interesting Austinites of all time. So this is a man, he died in 2020, age 99.
Ooh,
this man had an amazing life.
99, yes.
So he was a World War II veteran. This is a guy who was at the Battle of the Bulge. He was in the absolute thick of it, as deep in the mud as you can imagine in World War II fighting for our country. That's amazing. And then when he came back to Austin, he set up a business as a tailor, as a master garment maker and tailor. And you look at some of the outfits he made and the level and detail of the embroidery that they had. It's fantastic. And I say that because at the Austin History Center, there are a few of those outfits. Not to be all up in the business of the wonderful archival team and community archivists, but they're even, talking with family members and always in constant contact to be able to capture more of his history.
Wow.
And those outfits weren't just cool little outfits, which they were. They were like, he was a master tailor, amazing businessman, made a wonderful life for him and his family. He also, this is the fun part, was an internationally famous magician.
Whoa, what?
I know, right? So on the Archive of the Moving Picture, the Texas Archive of the Moving Picture, there are videos that History Center staff and archivists have worked to upload and share widely with the community. You can look it up and you can see these just delightful videos of him doing magic. And this is stuff that, we're talking like the David Copperfields of the world and like the most famous names in magic history recognize this guy as game. So
what?
Yeah, and he was an Austin guy.
I just looked him up. He has the sweetest face. He's just so happy. Like, he looks awesome.
And again, the Galindos are still here, still part of the community. Yeah, I bring this up too to illustrate that, the Austin History Center is the city's municipal archive, right? So yes, there is a literally millions of documents of city minutes and meeting notes. And there's also just a mountain of amazing things like videos of his magic, like some of his outfits, again, being housed at the History Center. And I bring him up as an amazing Austinite. More people should know about him. He's just a delightful life story.
Amazing.
But also just for folks to recognize, Austin History Center ain't just a bunch of old city documents. There's so much more for the community.
Like, I'm looking at a picture of him in what looks like a blue suit. He's got on a sombrero, and there's just all these beautiful ornate flowers embroidered all around the edges. Oh my God. That's
it's beautiful
amazing.
Stuff.
It's beautiful.
Well, I'm talking Austinites. People got to know about who the Falk Central Library is named after, which is John Henry Falk. The Austin History Center, to orient folks, again, it's on 9th and Guadalupe. If you go there, there is an older building, which was the city's first public library. It was built in 1933. I should be clear, the first permanent public library. And then right next door, near all these historic homes, is the John Henry Falk Central Library, which of course was Austin's flagship library until it closed in 2017 in favor of the also extremely beautiful downtown library that everybody knows and loves.
Right.
And when it closed in 2017, my forebears at the Austin History Center Association and other advocates in the community and ultimately voters advocated for and approved bond monies to renovate the John Henry Falk Central Library. And that is now where the archives are housed at the Austin History Center. It's on the precipice of reopening. But John Henry Falk himself.
Nice.
So he passed away in 1990. His resting place is in Oakwood Cemetery here in Austin. And what he's most famous for is ending the blacklist. So the Hollywood blacklist of, when you think about the House Un-American Activities Committee and individuals who, through no fault of their own, were being blacklisted from the industry for supposed communist sympathies or because they were from a different race or ethnicity or what have you. It was a very arbitrary period in American history of individuals getting blacklisted and really attacks on free speech.
Right.
Fully.
Right.
And John Henry Falk, he was a massive, massive radio personality, comparable to your modern, newscasters and influencers and YouTubers.
Yeah, because that's all you had.
Exactly. And he was an individual who was exceptionally inclusive for the time. So while he's on CBS radio, one of the biggest national platforms, he would have Black folks and Latino folks and Asian folks. He would have those folks on telling their stories and spreading through the community. An individual, a white man who recognized that he needed to give that back and tell more stories ahead of his time. He was a union leader at one point, and that alone, just being, I think, the vice president of a union, meant that he was blacklisted from the industry, fired from CBS, completely deplatformed.
Oh, shit.
So he was on that blacklist. And I say Hollywood blacklisted off, it went further than Hollywood. It went through many, many industries.
Yeah.
And so he was part of a lawsuit that ultimately, and this is, a very, very difficult thing to do, took a lot of time, took a lot of money and investment from him and others involved in this process. But they successfully ended this practice. And so at great personal cost, right? I mean, you can bet that CBS job was never coming back, but
yeah,
it was something he stuck his neck out for. He's a defender of free speech and a true Austinite. So when he passed away, they named just the Central Library into the John Henry Falk Central Library. And I'll say my job is the coolest in the world because had the absolute honor of having his wife Liz there the day after her 90th birthday, actually.
Wow.
His son, Johann, a few other folks from his family come tour the newly renovated library because, again, y'all, when you learn about local history and you find amazing Austinites who made Austin what it is today, like John Henry Falk, like Reverend Jacob Fontaine, you will also find their family.
Yeah.
Almost always. Here. They're still here. And they're a part of that legacy.
It's like part of the charm of Austin. It's hard to leave. Once it gets its hooks on you, it's hard to leave. Okay, I have a quick question for you. I know that we've been talking for a very long time, but do you have one woman, one Austinite that is woman identified that we should know about that we probably don't know about?
Oh, there's so many.
Just for my own personal selfish reasons.
So far, we've talked about folks who have passed, right?
Right, yeah.
But I'm thinking specifically of a woman named Barbara Spears Corbett, and she is a member of our board of directors, the Austin History Center Association, and she is the president of the L.C. Anderson Alumni Association. The L.C. Anderson Alumni Association is for L.C. Anderson High School, the original one that closed over 50 years ago in 1971.
Yeah.
Because that L.C. Anderson High School was the Black high school in Austin.
My dad went there, yeah.
There, okay, you already know. You already know what it is. And so you could say that the legacy.
I mean,
that's cool.
Yeah, listen. Yeah.
It's unbelievable stuff. And so here's a fact for y'all. Austin High School, the Austin High School, has existed as a whites-only high school for longer than it's existed as an integrated high school.
What?
That's still true. And for the vast majority of that history, L.C. Anderson High School was the Black high school. And here's the thing. There is a sad story here. Of course, in 1971, L.C. Anderson was ordered to be shut down by a federal judge in collaboration with the Austin School District. Desegregation is obviously a wonderful, positive thing, a societal leap forward. But the way that it happened meant that this wonderful school that had Black teachers and Black leaders and Black students, and not just Black folks, to be clear, right? Plenty of Latino folks who suddenly, these are teachers that lost their jobs. These are students that are getting bused west of I-35, where previously that's not really a spot for them.
Yep.
And it put a lot of burden on the community while robbing the community of a precious resource. And I say all that, that's the sad part. But on the flip side, think about the joy that community must have had for the Alumni Association to be active over 50 years after it closed. Yeah. It was a joyous community. They had a world-class at the time marching band. They had a football team that was winning state titles. They had amazing cheerleaders, dancers, performers, academics. A situation where, that teacher doesn't just see you in the classroom. They know where you live.
Right.
They know if you messed up that day.
They know your mom. They know everybody. My my dad was a part of, I am pretty sure, class of 63. My mom's going to kill me if I'm wrong about that. And they had a float in every Juneteenth parade. The L.C. Anderson Alumni Association had a float in every single parade, and classmates from all of the years could be on that float. They would meet every now and then and have dinner and drinks and stuff. When my father passed away in 2020, all of his classmates came to his funeral. Like, this was a community for real. The L.C. Anderson alumni community is incredible.
It's unbelievable stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll say, this is one of those things, right? As I've been saying for the listeners the whole time, the history's still here with us. Nikki is a part of this history. Nikki, the host of this podcast, is a part of this history, a direct line to the amazing legacy of L.C. Anderson High School. And I'll say, for me, it's just an honor that I have a community leader like Barbara, who's doing this. And when I say doing this, it's not that the Alumni Association just gets together. It's what Nikki said. Like, no, they show up. And they show up. Everywhere.
Yeah.
And so recently, just last month, there was a premiere of a documentary about Dick Night Train Lane, who was a pro football Hall of Famer. To this day, still holds the record for single season interceptions in the NFL. 14 interceptions in a season. Hasn't happened since. Might never happen. And he went to and won a state championship with L.C. Anderson High School. And you best believe when that documentary was premiering up here in Austin, Texas, all the L.C. Anderson alumni were out there. So when I'm thinking of powerful Black women in the community, I mean, you don't have to look far. You don't have to look far for the woman that made Austin what it is today. And we got to love and appreciate our living legends while they're here. Barbara's one of them.
Adam, thank you so much for being here. This has been a delightful conversation. I love learning things about the city that I don't know.
Oh, I'm grateful for it. I really, really encourage everyone listening to this. The archives have the architectural archives of the city. If you want to know how your house became what it is today, or how your apartment was built and when, maybe even some of the stories of the folks who lived there and made it that, you can go in and find it out. Ever wondered why you have that weird carport in your backyard? You can go find out. And so I just emphasize that if the History Center is an amazing, underrated community resource, check out the Austin History Center, y'all.
Okay, you heard what he said, y'all. Adam, until next time, I will absolutely be inviting you here again so we can chat it up. Thank you so much.
Anytime. It was a pleasure.
That's all for today here on CityCast Austin. You can find links to the Austin History Center and their September 7th event, along with a video of Ramon Gallendo's magic in our show notes. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review. Of course, subscribe to our Hey Austin newsletter. And also, if you really, really love CityCast Austin, help support us by becoming a neighbor today at membership.citycast.fm. We will be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye, y'all.